What?
In the defeat this evening, just give us your immediate reaction.
Obviously I'm disappointed. I felt like I couldn't go out there and really show fuck all of what I've been doing with Dave. She was a really awkward, difficult opponent. She came in, felt like she was tough to work.
She got worked. Welcome to the Australian Boxing Podcast. It is, Jesus, I don't even know the date. December the 12th, 2023. Waiting for my colleague Big J to call in. We got several topics to talk to you about today. About 30 minutes or so. We're not going to be too long-winded. Ebony Bridges losing in the backlash to Miyo Yoshida on the undercard of Devin Haney and Rica's Prograis. Liam Paro spectacular knockout stoppage win over Montana Love. Skye Nicholson's going to be fighting for a vacant title against Sarah Mahfoud. Andrew Moloney won the WBO Global title in basically a club show this last weekend. Mairis Briedis, former IBF champion, looking like he's trying to get some step-aside money from the Saudis because now the IBF is threatening. There's Big J right there. Take your time out. Like the video, subscribe. We're back. We got my colleague Big J on the line. So where I left off is we're going to be talking about the Briedis Opetaia situation with the IBF basically threatening to strip Opetaia. Sam Solimon has fought this past weekend, and Lucas Browne. Sam Goodman and Liam Wilson are going to be fighting on a no-limit card this Friday night. We're going to look at that, and then we're going to cap the video off talking about Tszyu. And, it's not really nothing going on with Loma versus Kambosos. Nothing's changed, but we'll give that a mention as well. So let's start with Ebony Bridges. We did talk about it on Fight Night a couple of days ago as she lost to a Miyo Yoshida via unanimous decision. Let me make sure I pull the scorecards up here. Ebony Bridges has been getting roasted online, and to a point where a news publication first called news.com.au quoted Big J here, stick to OnlyFans. Ebony Bridges torn to shreds after shock upset. You want to start off, Big J? Oh, the scorecards were 99, 91 on 2, and 97, 93. That was pretty generous to me. I really had it basically generously 9 rounds to 1, maybe 8 rounds to 2, depending on how you looked at it.
Yeah, well, mate, as I said to you before in the other video, no one likes Ebony. People may say that they support her publicly, but at the end of the day, no one can stand her because she's entitled, obnoxious, foul-mouthed, skanky stripper in her own words who just wants to flash a bum on the scales and jump up and down like some sort of wannabe stripper. She's made a complete mockery of the sport, and the one thing Australians don't like is a fucking show-off. Right? Australians can't stand a show-off. So we're like, fuck you. A lot of people are waiting a long time for her to lose, and everyone's just going, fuck you. We don't. She's a bloody disgrace. The way she carries on, she's using her. She's a boxer who's a pretend OnlyFans model. All she's doing was using it to promote her OnlyFans bloody page. That's all she was doing. All right. And same with the Avril Matthew fight. All that, as I said, all that was an OnlyFans pillow fight to give both girls an opportunity to promote their OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. And God handed us one, gave Ebony an opponent that wasn't dicking around, that wasn't going to, think it was just an easy cash grab, and beat the piss out of her. And everyone was happy about it. I don't know anyone that's upset that she lost. Boxing media, other boxers I've spoken to, everyone's just killing themselves laughing, going, well, she finally got what she deserved.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that. I didn't know, until I started reading comments on other videos outside of ours and just overall on Twitter. Like, she's been getting roasted. I can understand to an extent, because after a while, she did come off a little, how can I say, like off-putting, like entitled. That's the best way the term to say it, especially for somebody that hasn't really accomplished a lot in the sport. And, it seemed like, as I used the example of Adrian Broner, when he was going through his phase of wanting to be more of a basically a social media influencer and a rapper, and then once he stepped into the ring with Marcos Maidana, and before that, Paulie Malignaggi, he was getting tagged up. So it's kind of a similar situation where it's like, what are you going to be? You know, because as the saying goes, you can't play boxing. So now the question is, will she be getting a rematch? And if I'm being honest, the rematch looking like it may go the same way. That Yoshida girl, she just wanted it more. You know, I mean, she was out there banging just constantly. Ebony just constantly kept getting hit with the same right hand, no head movement, and she just looked slow. You know, and the changing in trainers. She might as well go back to where she was.
Well, as I said, she was preparing for an easy defense, right, with another girl who was making a mockery of the sport just to promote her OnlyFans page. That's what she was preparing for. I don't think she would have been training properly for this Avril Matthew fight. And it showed. I mean, you know, if you're a full professional, it doesn't matter who you're fighting, you train the same way.
Yeah.
So, and you know, as I said in the tweet, I said, you know, she can bugger off. Don't come back to Australia because no one really wants her back here. She turned her back on us for a bunch of simp pom fans, right? A bunch of simp British fans. Stay in Britain. Bugger off then.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of people,
okay.
you know, and, you know, you're not the only one that seems to feel that way. Like I said, I was shocked that she had that like a lot of people didn't like her. You know, I was shocked, you know, including females.
Well, as I said to you last night, I've never seen such glee in Australian boxing fans for a boxer losing a fight since Mundine got knocked out by Stemnopke back in 2001, and everyone just jumped on Chock and going, ha, fuck Chock, that'll shut him up. Now we don't have to listen to his bullshit no more. I haven't seen people come after a boxer for a loss like that in over 20 years, but she brought it on herself. She tried to, you know, bring all this garbage into boxing that we don't need. You know, we don't need simps sitting there looking at the bloody weigh-in photos and all this other garbage that she was trying to promote, right? You know, women's boxing doesn't get enough respect and attention as it is, and then you got her carrying on the way she carries on. So
and you have to wonder, like, you know, like how many tickets did she actually move? You know,
probably none, because the simps just want to see her weigh-ins. They wouldn't watch
care about the fights. Yeah. There you go.
Exactly.
You know, it was a risky marketing style, but at this point in time, it may have worked to an extent. But the longevity of it, especially with this defeat, you know, and and respectfully, she's not, you know, necessarily like, you mean, she's still young, obviously, but you know, 37 years old.
Well, as I said, short-term gain for long-term pain. I mean, she, as I said, if you look at her resume, the only people she has beaten are either older women at the absolute tail end of their careers, or people with negative records.
Yeah.
Look at her record. You know, Christy Hoy was 6-10 when she fought her. Carol Earl was 3-1. If you look, Beck Connolly was
3-9. Millie's Gangloff, who beat her, was a lot of people thought would beat her, including myself, was 5-2. Maria Roman, I forgot her age. Let me look real quick, but 16-5.
Oh, she was about 39. She was about 39 when she fought Ebony. Yeah, so she was.
And she's lost twice more since then.
Yeah, she's lost 3 out of 4 since then. So 3 out of 4 since then. So.
And then Shannon O'Connell had a busted shoulder, and of course, you know, an older fighter as well. So yeah, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors with this resume.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke. That's all Ebony is, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be paying attention to what's going to be going on with her. In my opinion, she needs to stay active, get back out there. You know, I mean, she didn't take too much damage. February, you know, March at the latest, and try to get a 3-fight 2024 in. Going directly into the rematch. You know, if she's going to go into the rematch, I think she should go back to her main trainer. I mean, to her former trainer, if it's not any bad blood there. Yeah. You know, because she clearly needs to make a change, because one more loss is definitely, you know, like, she's going to have some issues, especially in women's boxing, where, you know, she's going to become a journeywoman.
Exactly.
You know? So on to Liam Parro, who actually did what he was
before we get to Liam,
mm-hmm.
Shout out to news.com for using my tweet. So
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty funny. I got a call about that yesterday. They're like, they've used your tweet, and I thought it was freaking hilarious.
Okay.
So appreciate news.com. But yeah, on the Liam Parro.
Yeah, Liam Paro did what he had to do this weekend by stopping Montana Love, and in exciting fashion to actually boost himself up in the picture of the 140-pound division. He called out the winner of Devin Haney, Regis Prograis. He's not going to get it. I mean, he may get Regis Prograis. That's a
And he would beat him. Here's the
I'm
sad
not
thing
there
for
yet.
Liam Paro. If Liam fought Regis Prograis when he was supposed to, I honestly believe he would have beat him because Regis Prograis in his last three fights has looked like shit.
Yeah, that is
So,
that is true.
He offered nothing. He made Devin Haney look 100 times better than Devin Haney was supposed to look.
Yeah, nothing, like at all, nothing.
Nothing.
Landed
I
throughout
mean-
the whole fight, 12 rounds, 36 punches. Like
It
36
looked like he didn't even. It looks like he didn't even show up.
So
So
I can see possibly Liam Parro taking on either Richardson Hitchens, who called for the fight on social media, or a Regis Prograis, depending on what Regis Prograis is going to be doing next, and also Ryan Garcia, which I doubt would happen. But then again, you never know. Ryan Garcia also entertained the idea of going over to Australia to fight Liam Parro, but you never know. I doubt that it'll happen. But my money is going to be on either Richardson Hitchens in some type of eliminator, or Regis Prograis, since that fight was already supposed to happen.
yeah, probably Regis Prograis because it'll give him a bit more credibility than Richardson Higgins. But the thing is, he needs to stay away. If he gets Devin, which I don't believe he will, he needs to stay away from Devin.
Yeah,
Devin
he
would
ain't getting
box his
Devin.
bloody ears off.
I don't
Nah.
see it. And
Yeah.
Devin already said he's in for big money fights, and he would go for a unification before he will fight a Liam Parro. So Liam Parro, he may be in that next level or generation of 140 pounders, because as it stands right now, he may not be getting a title shot for any sanctioning body until around maybe this time next year, the way things are looking. And that's
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
Teofimo Lopez may be going to 147. Rolly Romero, WBA champion, by the way, Teofimo's WBO. Rolly Romero's already talking about 147. And Devin Haney's exploring ideas at 147. So, maybe sometime at the end of around this time next year, 2024, or early, to spring 2025, he can probably fight for a vacant title, because all those guys we just mentioned, from Regis Prograis, Rolly Romero, Subriel Matias, Arnold Barboza, Jose Ramirez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, they can all fight each other for much bigger money than they would get for fighting Liam Parro. So Liam Parro will probably only get his shot if he was in a mandatory spot. And by the way, Subriel Matias and Teofimo Lopez are in talks to fight. And the mandatory for Rolly Romero is O'Hara Davies, who's going to be fighting Ismael Barroso, the guy who a lot of people felt should have beat Rolly Romero. He's going to be fighting him next month, meaning O'Hara versus Barroso, to be the final mandatory for Rolly Romero on the undercard of Virgil Ortiz fight in January. But overall, how would you rate his performance, and what do you think about Montana Love? I'm done. I'm not sold. I'm done with Montana Love.
I think you gave Montana Love far too much credit because you said he was a decent fighter. He's shit. I mean, he got rushed by Stevie Spark. And Stevie Spark is as good as Stevie Spark is a mid-card international fighter, at best, and he clobbered Montana Love. He was all over him until he decided that bloody throw him over the top rope. So, and I knew Liam would batter Montana Love. It was just a matter of time, because I'm thinking Liam did exactly what he needed to do. He needed to make an emphatic statement, and he did. As I said, Liam needed a good mid-carder to shake off the ring rust and get him back in the winner's circle, and he did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah.
So Montana Love gets zero props because he's a mid to low carder. He's nothing special. Like probably a good domestic level fighter, but on an international scene, he ain't got shit.
Yeah, he ain't there.
So, and to be beaten by not one but two Aussies, right? That doesn't look good for anyone internationally, because if you think about it, Australians still aren't considered any real threat on the international scene. There's maybe one or two guys, right? You know, you got Jai, we've got Tim, we've got Jason Maloney, but as a whole, Australians are like, meh. Oh, you're an Australian, yeah, you should be an easy win.
Yeah.
So that's the way that the Poms, the Yanks, internationally, that's how Australians are seen as, oh yeah, you're an Aussie, oh well, you should be an easy win.
Yeah.
So I mean, generally speaking, pretty much Aussie boxers are on the international scene. So, but you know, there are a handful of us that are world champion caliber. But yeah, I don't think Aussies get enough credit. And one thing with the bloody DAZN, geez, can they do their fucking research? Liam Paro did not fight for the first time out of Australia against Montana Love. He fought the Cuban bloke in Florida.
Yeah.
He was out. That was the second time he fought in Australia. Jeez, can Todd Grissom do his bloody research? That just makes him sound like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get over that. How many times did they say that? It was his first time out of Australia. No, it wasn't. Look at his bloody record. God, don't these guys do their research?
And they have it right there too.
Jeez, I mean that just made him look friggin' unprofessional and lazy. Jeez. But anyway, moving on.
Andrew Moloney won this weekend WBO Global title, defeating a Judy Flores. I did see some clips and some brief small clips, and according to the scorecards, it was a shutout.
Yeah, shutout. Yeah,
so 26-3
win.
with 16 KOs, 32 years old. As I'm looking at the rankings here, it looks like he may be targeting a rematch with Junto Nakatani.
Not going to happen. Spoke to Andrew the other day. He said that Junto Nakatani is looking at moving up and going up to WBC champ.
I was going to see that, say that unless he moves up, because Nakatani's a big guy, but then he moves up, he's going to run into the brother probably.
No, he's not. Well, what Andrew told me the other day is that he's looking at going after the WBC champ. Because I said,
got you. Okay.
I said to him, because if he moves up, he's automatically
mandatory.
Mandatory for his brother. But he goes, no, he's going to WBC. Well, that's according to what I've been told. Whether or not it's true or not,
then hey, they know better than us, so that's going to be interesting. So, looking at Andrew Moloney's chance to get a shot, to fight. See, Kosi Tanaka. I've seen him fight before, but I can't remember his style. That's a fight that I can see happening with Andrew, especially since Top Rank has a strong relationship with Japanese fighters. But it's looking like there may be one more fight. Maybe a Christopher Rosales, or these guys right now. You have a number 3, Christian Bakasegu, Christopher Rosales, Francisco Rodriguez Jr., and a Kenta Nikagawa, and a Tsef Khan, and a KG Katahara. So those are all guys that are right now in front of Andrew Moloney, and I wouldn't be surprised if he fights any of those names to build it to get a shot at getting a mandatory fight. So basically, what I'm saying is, not to be long-winded, is he's about 2 fights at least from fighting for a title again.
Exactly.
At least, and it's looking like it may be a vacant title. So this is his last chance. At this level. Anything after this is going to be journeyman status. And we talked about it before. He can't say that Top Rank and his manager, Tony Toji, haven't been giving him his chances.
Tony Tolch.
Yeah, Tony Toji. Yeah, because right now, as it looks like, he's he's always in the mix.
Yeah, that's right.
So Skye Nicolson. Go ahead.
Side note, just quickly on Alex Winwood. I think he's been made, from what I've been reading, mandatory, or will be mandatory for the Japanese champion at minimum weight, the WBC guy.
Okay.
It's a Japanese fighter. I can't remember his name. But considering the fact that Top Rank has, in a way, they're pretty much going to take over the Japanese market, Alex Winwood is a Tony Tolch fighter. Maybe that could be on a Top Rank thing. I'm just trying to put all the my ducks in a row here. So
it's possible, but it all depends on how, because Top Rank don't have any fighters that small, so they would really be investing. They would really be heavily invested, and then it's such a small weight, so hard to really gain appeal for those fights, because a lot of people don't know who the fighters are. But yeah, we'll see. You know, I won't be surprised if Top Rank does sign him. Um,
Yeah.
Skye Nicolson was ordered to fight Sarah. You know more about this situation than me. She didn't want to fight for a vacant title. So what happened with that?
No. What happened? What I've been reading and what I've been led to believe is true. I mean, you know, is that Amanda Serrano vacated her WBC title because the WBC won't sanction 3-minute rounds, 12 3-minute rounds for women. Okay, fair enough, right? So she said, "Well, bugger it, I'll drop the belt."
Mm-hmm.
Skye Nicolson was offered, from what I've heard, to be promoted to the full championship. She said no, and now she's been mandated to fight the silver champion, who was, what's the girl's name?
Sarah Mahfoud.
And I believe they have to come to an agreement by January 12th.
That'd be a purse bid.
To have a purse bid. So good on Skye for not taking an email champ. If she's going to have the belt, at least it's, you know, she's got to go through someone else to earn it. So good for her. You got to give props to that. So
and her only defeat, Mahfoud, is to Amanda Serrano, where she was stopped. No, excuse me, she won all 10 rounds, and won some rounds. And also to point out, Skye Nicolson is not the only one to question if the 12 3-minute rounds is the reason that Amanda Serrano dropped her title. You know, some fans, you know, and fighters have been insinuating that it can be, you know, for other reasons, you know, like drug testing. But I'm just pointing that out there. Don't shoot the messenger. So it's interesting that Skye Nicolson would say that, and basically, you know, building some heat there for a potential fight with Amanda Serrano sometime in the future.
Yeah, and also a fighter called was it Tszyu Browne? Are you familiar with this lady?
Tszyu Browne, yeah.
She's kicked up a stink because she thinks that she's in front of Skye, and I mean it's been going on for probably about 12 months, maybe even 18 months. That she's trying to get a fight with Skye, and it just hasn't happened. I don't know why. I don't know anything about.
Tszyu Browne has a little bit of a boogeyman status. She's been trying to get big fights for some time. I believe she's a DeBella fighter. She's even been trying to hook up with Eddie Hearn. I can't for the life of me understand why nobody would sign this girl up. She's 15-0 with 10 KOs.
She looks freaking intimidating, I tell you that.
Yeah. She's been around for some time, but a lot of fighters, for whatever reasons, do not want to fight this girl.
Probably because she looks as scary as fuck.
Yeah, do not. Yeah. You know, certain fighters just look like they hit hard. Let's dive into, well, first of all, before we talk about Opetaia versus Briedis, quick hits. What happened with Sam Solimon this weekend?
Surprisingly, Sam lost, but it went the full 8 rounds, and he lost by UD, which I find surprising, considering that he got knocked out by Joel Camilleri in a round his last fight. So I haven't seen any footage, but maybe Alex Walters was taking it easy on Sam and didn't want to hurt him. That's a theory. I mean, I haven't seen any tape, and I don't know if there's going to be any.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I checked, and I'm checking again, and I see nothing.
Well, this was a club show in Campsie in New South Wales, so
there you go.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be any footage available. But yeah, I mean, shame on anyone who let that. I mean, Sam's 50. Speaking of old guys, did you see that guy that was 59 years old and had his debut and got knocked out in like 30 seconds? Who the fuck let that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, but I mean, are we trying to get someone killed? I was like, young men are dying in the ring. Who the fuck thought it was a good idea to let a man who's 59 years old get into the ring for his debut?
For his debut.
Wow, shit.
For his debut.
What the fuck?
In other news, Lucas Browne career seems to be over as he was stopped in Dubai. I'm going to play this clip here. Hopefully they don't copyright me. See if I can find the knockout. He was stopped in Dubai, and looks like it's over for him.
Не успеет на правый боковой.
You know, former, world champion, I guess you can say, with that WBA world title. That was the biggest win of his career at that time. I remember that, I forgot the guy that he beat. They tried to return the belt to him because Lucas Browne failed the drug test. And then the guy was like, no, you know what? I don't want the belt. I'm retired.
Yeah, Chavalev or whatever his name was. It was the Russian guy.
Yeah. Let me get his name real quick. But yeah, I mean, Lucas Browne's had some high points, some low points. He's been You know, he's been in some significant fights. You know, I've got his resume right here. 31-5 with 27 KOs, 44 years old. You know, fight with Gerald Big Baby Miller. You know, he got that big upset over Junior Fa, who's going to be fighting Frank Sanchez next week, by the way, on that big Saudi Arabia card headlined by, in 2 different fights, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. You know, Paul Gallen, that was a pay-per-view. Dylan White, Ruslan Chagiev. There you go. That's the guy's name.
Ruslan Chagiev, that's it.
You know, so I mean, he had his chance, but now, yeah, it's time to hang it up. The guy he lost to was a 6-0. I'm guessing this guy's Russian fighter by the name of Mark Petrovsky. And all he's been doing is beating up old people. He beat up Kevin Johnson in his last fight, and basically, no, he didn't. He won a majority decision against old Kevin Johnson. Okay, so this guy really is not that good, you know, going the distance with Kevin. It was a 6-round fight, but going the distance with Kevin Johnson in 2023 is you know, that's not a good look. But yeah, shout out to Lucas Browne. You know, he's been on the channel before. I've actually spoken to him several years ago. Well, not spoken. Chatting. I forgot what we were talking about. It was so long ago. But this was around the time when he was pretty much on top of the, I mean, not on top of the world, but he had like a name in boxing at the time. This was before the drug test. This Opetaia. Go ahead.
Sorry, shout out to Lucas Browne. I mean, absolute sweetheart of a guy when I met him. And Lucas Brown's one of those fighters where if he hits you, you stay hit. But the thing is that he's got to hit you first.
Yeah, he's got to get you.
So, yeah, exactly. If you can get in before he gets you, that's how Lucas wins fights, is he gets in the shot first.
Yeah.
So, but that's the heavyweight. One punch changes everything. So I would like Lucas to retire because I don't see him, even though he's literally a one punch fighter. If he hits you, you stay hit. But the problem is that that's all he's got going for him. He needs to retire. If he's just going to take beating after beating after beating, you don't want to see any fighter go through that. So you don't want to see him get, you know, to the point where they're punch drunk, for lack of a better term, where they have all sorts of neurological problems and they can't function. You don't want to see that. Retire now. He's never going to get to the top again. So walk away. I think he's got a gym over in Perth. Become a trainer, whatever. You know, good luck to him. But, you know, I don't want to see him get hurt anymore. It's just not worth it. I mean, for what? It would have made, what, 10 grand fighting there, if that?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So...
You got taxes and your team. Yeah, probably walk away with, you know, less than half of that.
So, yeah, I'd like him to hang it up because he's got nothing left to prove and he's not going to be on world champion again. So what's the point? So.
Yeah. All right, moving on to what's going on with Opetaia. Oh, by the way, take your time out, like the video, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy and Big J at Old Mate Big J. Just the letter J. It looks like, as I'm reading this this tweet here from IFL TV, I'm a quote here, with Opetaia looking set to vacate his IBF title to fight Ellis Zorro on December 23rd in Saudi, do you believe he should vacate it or call off the fight and keep it? What are your thoughts on that? In my personal opinion, it depends on how much the Saudis are paying him, but also you don't want to disrespect the Saudis as well.
Well, I've heard that there's reports that he's getting like 630,000.
Yeah, you can't.
I think he should take 150 of that. Tell Briedis to go fuck himself, right? And say I'll see you in March.
Yeah, because it's hard to believe that and Mairis Briedis is the mandatory, and of course there was that rematch clause. But it's hard to believe that Mairis Briedis and his team hasn't been looking at Opetaia like, hey, he's getting all this money. They likely know how much he's making. And it's like, getting all this money, not giving us nothing? No, we want our shot, or he can't get no money. So in my personal opinion, you know, for that type of money, you know, and the potential, you know, to be in the good graces of the Saudis, yeah, you know, drop that belt. You know, it's a shame it has to be that way, but I mean, hopefully there's still time. Maybe the Saudis and can talk some sense to the IBF and Briedis and be like, all right, you are next. And we'll make sure, you know, it happens in Saudi Arabia and you're going to get your money. You know,
well, the IBF. Go ahead.
And I just feel that they need to come up with some type of financial agreement because, you know, it'd be a damn shame for Opetaia to lose his belt after all he's been through. And also, the division needs him to be champion.
And the IBF have been acting like dicks of late. I mean, they stripped Crawford for no reason and basically just handed the belt to Innes.
Pretty much.
For literally no reason. I mean, they didn't even give him a chance to come to negotiations or anything. They just stripped his ass.
After Errol Spence held on to the belt with no mandatory for 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what's his name? What's that old mate Russian's name that never got his shot? Bakram Murtazaliev's been dicked around for Lawton, but then again, he sort of did that to himself because he agreed to all those step-aside deals. The IBF of the last year or so, they've been doing some things that people don't agree with. It's like, why strip bloody Jai? Because Briedis was going to have his rematch and he got injured. Then he just waits.
Yeah.
It's like, wait until March. It's not like Jai's avoiding him. Jai will just kick the shit out of the Zorro bloke and then fight Briedis again next year.
Yeah, that money,
What's the
man.
problem?
By the way, Ellis Zorro, 17-0 with 7 KOs, 31 years old. I've seen him fight before, but nothing special. On Frank Warren's cards, nothing special. Opetaia should have an easy night. I'm guessing after he wins, he's going to go on to fight Briedis, likely for the belt again, maybe try to become 2-time champion. One thing for sure is the Ring Magazine is not going to strip him. By the way, Chris Billum-Smith defeated Mahfoud Masternak this weekend on Peacock TV here in the States and over on Sky Sports over in the UK. So he's going to be fighting either Richard Riakporhe, who's the mandatory, or Lawrence O'Colly, as they're waiting for him to fully enter negotiations to fully invoke his rematch clause. And then you have Urslan Gulamarian, who has a fight. I forgot who he's in negotiations to fight someone. And then you have Noel Giever, forgot how you pronounce his name, who is the WBC champion. So the division is kind of all over the place. The only real mega money fight to really make is either Chris Billum-Smith, Richard Riakporhe, or the Briedis rematch. So it's not like he's going to get paid. It's not like he's not going to make money for the Briedis rematch. I just don't like how the IBF is going about it. And no, there hasn't been any news if it is Briedis and his team that's actually put the foot on the necks of the IBF. We don't know. Kind of like Tszyu situation, where they were constantly on the WBO to get their shot against Charlo and eventually got the belt.
Yeah, that's true. But it's a bit of a shame. But hopefully the fight goes ahead, Jai gets paid, and then they can sort all that stuff out later. But it's a bit of a joke to, strip a guy that close to a fight. I mean, It's not like the IBF didn't know about this fight already. It's not like it's all of a sudden just popped up and they're gonna, the IBF have had plenty of time to go, well, if you fight this guy, we're going to strip you. I mean, they're doing it literally 10 days before the fight.
But also, to be fair, Ellis Zorro is not ranked by the IBF.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, he is ranked by the WBA and the WBO, but not the IBF, so.
Well, yeah, fair enough. I thought to myself, why is Jai fighting this guy anyway? It's just a stay busy fight. Okay, fair enough. But there you go. It should just be a non-title fight then. That happens all the time.
Yeah. Sam Goodman and Liam Wilson, they're headlining a card for main event this weekend. No limit boxing.
Yeah, no limit boxing Friday night. So Friday night, obviously they can do Friday night boxing while the footy season's not on. Mm-hmm. So so Sam Goodman's fighting, I think, a Chinese fighter, and Liam Wilson's fighting a Jackson England, who had the fight of the year, I think it was last year, against Paul Fleming, a very good 130-pounder. But I'm not in favour of this fight because it doesn't do Liam Wilson any favours. Jackson England last fight got I think it was a split decision against Nathaniel May, where people thought that Nathaniel May actually won. I think that was on the last Tim card. Yeah, it was. It was on the Tszyu Mendoza undercard. Mm-hmm. Jackson England is not of the level of Liam Wilson, and it's a lose-lose in my opinion, because if he loses, then it's a massive upset, and if he wins, he'll gain no credibility from it anyway, because Liam Wilson's like at the top of the top 15, and Jackson England is barely at the bottom of the top 15 of the rankings. Yeah. So I think this is probably just a stay busy fight for Liam to keep him active. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one because it doesn't do him any favours either way.
And for Sam
Goodman, he's just in another stay busy fight until he gets his opportunity after in a way smacks out old mate and becomes undisputed at 122.
Yeah. This would be Sam Goodman's 4th fight this year, staying busy, and it will be his 5th fight in 14 months. And he's got some good names in there with TJ Doheny, Rais Salim, and Miguel Flores. Some solid names in there for him to stay busy.
The busy fighter is a dangerous fighter. We've said that many times.
So let me look and see real quick. I know we talked about it before in the past, but who he'll likely be fighting for that vacant title against. Probably Luis Neri or John Real Casimero. There you go.
Oh God, Casimero, bloody hell.
It'll probably be Casimero.
That's if Casimero doesn't run around the ring the entire time.
Is that too. Also, do we know for sure if he's going to be going the WBO route? Because he's also ranked number 1 by the WBO and by the IBF.
Unclear, but considering the fact that I think he'll be going after the WBO.
Okay.
I think because that No Limit have that relationship with the WBO, because Tim's a champion, so they'll probably go after the WBO.
Yeah, and also the guy he's fighting, Zhang Lu, if I'm pronouncing his name right, the Chinese fella, he's ranked number 14 by the WBO.
Okay, yeah, I think he'd be going. But I've noticed in Australian boxing, ever since Jeff beat Pacquiao for that WBA title, we're getting WBA champions left, right, and centre. Jason, Tim,
Yeah,
so
WBO.
A lot of the Australian boxers are going after the WBO.
Yeah, the WBO supports Australian boxing. You know, they see something there, and they've been ahead of the curve. All right. We haven't really heard any news on what's going on with Tszyu, but my gut is telling me that he's going to be fighting Erickson Lubin on Amazon Prime in March, and he's already said he's moving to the States. Has he moved here yet? Big J, has he moved to the States here yet?
No, I think he's in training camp at the moment, but as we know, he's going to try to fight on March 2nd, the Friday night, because the NRL's kicking off on, March 2nd? He's going to try and fight March 1st in Vegas next year, and they haven't got an opponent yet, but they've got plenty of time. The NRL boys, there were a couple of the boys over promoting the game in Vegas at the stadium the other day. I think the Rams were playing someone.
Okay.
And Aaron Woods and another bloke were there promoting the NRL season kickoff. So No Limit want to obviously piggyback off that. But no news yet. But there's been suggestions that maybe Tszyu is going to get poached by someone because he wants to have his career in America.
Yeah.
Why he would want to do that, I don't know. He's making from what I've been hearing, he's making over $1 million a fight. Fighting in Australia on No Limit. He's not going to. If he goes to another promoter, he won't make that. Even if champion, he's not going to make that sort of money.
I think he will. Because of they'll give him guarantees, especially if it's true the rumors that he could be headlining the first PBC show on Amazon against Erickson Lubin to kick things off. If anybody was signing, I could see it being PBC. Guaranteeing him about $1 million or $2 million or so a fight. Now, his ratings over here for his fights in the States on Showtime have been miserable, but Showtime ratings in general have been miserable. But I can see it happening because I can see him making at least $1 million a fight because PBC.
But he's making that now.
Yeah, exactly. But with PBC, they have the fighters that he wants to fight between 147 and 154.
Yeah, exactly.
So if anybody's going to poach you, it's going to be PBC.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But why do that and go overseas and do that where you can stay here and make more money?
Think about it like this: PBC has the path for him to be undisputed.
True.
He's the WBO champion. Boom. Let's say Bakr and Murtazali of Jack Kouke, PBC can make that fight. The WBA, Charlo's still holding on to that. The WBA ain't going to strip him. It's a trash organization, and he still has the WBC. They likely won't strip him. And then when you look at the WBO rankings, his next mandatory will likely be Xander Zayas, who's a top-ranked fighter, but that won't be for maybe a year or so. So he's got some leeway right there to fight whoever he wants to fight. So if anybody would approach him, it would be PBC. And why would he stay with No Limit? What sense does it make, from a promotional standpoint, to stay with a promotional company when you're based in the United States? I mean, yeah, the TV rights, No Limit can possibly have for main event, but as far as promotional, the team would have to come to the States.
Yeah, well, he's making all that money off the pay-per-view buys. I mean, he's doing like mundane numbers. He's doing like 100,000 buys a show, from what I've been hearing. So he's making a lot of money from all the pay-per-view revenue. Mm-hmm. So so he's doing a lot of. That's where all his money's coming from. All the pay-per-view buys. Remember, $60 a pop, 100,000 buys. That's $6 million, and he gets a fair chunk of that.
Yeah.
So but. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that. But, I think it's going to be Erickson Lubin, hopefully in March, the night before the NRL doubleheader season kickoff. Hopefully that happens, and that's what we've got. So
we'll probably hear announcements sometime in January, likely. Maybe the first after the New Year, we should be hearing an announcement, especially since it would be about 8 weeks or so away.
I dare say they'll probably do it at... Probably not at the Super Bowl, but around the finals time. That they'll announce the Tszyu fight, at the same time. So, because the NRL's promoting their Vegas weekend pretty much now. So they've already started the promotion for it.
Makes sense. All right, closing thoughts?
Looking forward to it all. I mean, happy the way things are going for Australian boxing. We're looking up at the moment. Unfortunately, a couple of champions have lost out, but, Mm-hmm. Hopefully the girls get back in there. So, because we don't have any female champions at the moment, but we'll see what happens. The guys are doing well. Hopefully Jai does not lose his belt, because that would just be absolute bullshit. But anyway, it's peak Aussie boxing season at the moment, and looking forward to what's going to happen in 2024.
Yeah, and remember, next week we will be here, and definitely me. I got a busy ass day. Next week, it's next weekend. It's the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. We're going to have that Day of Reckoning card over in Saudi Arabia. That's going to obviously feature Deontay Wilder. Jesus, I forgot who he's fighting.
Deontay Wilder's fighting
Joseph Parker. We're going to be doing a preview for that.
Parker.
You got Anthony Joshua. You got Anthony Joshua, who's going to be taking on Otto Wallin. You got Junior 5, Frank Sanchez, Felix Hergovich versus Mark Demore. I was going to say Lucas Browne, Gerald Miller versus Daniel Dubois, and then of course Opetaia versus Ellis Zorro. Now next week we're going to be doing 2 pre-fight week previews, one for the Joseph Parker fight and Wilder, because that's the big one, and then also the Opetaia fight, especially if there's an update on if he's going to be able to keep his title or not. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy and Big J at Old Make Big J. And please be sure to subscribe. Remember, we're going to be here next week covering the Deontay Wilder Joseph Parker fight and the Opetaia Ellis Zorro fight. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.